Hello and welcome to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte, and today I'm really excited because I'll be using Anastasia Beverly Hills formula for the first time. I do have one other palette, but that's from the Norwegian collection. It's the mini pressed pigment palette volume 1, the purpley one, and it's the first time I'll be using this kind of palettes from them. And I think that this is quite beautiful. It's a little bit too natural for me, personally. I could have, for example, done very well without the shade Libra here and the shade, I don't know how to pronounce this. And I wish that this one might have been a little bit darker, just because I don't feel like this is almost just a transition color for people of darker complexion, and I personally also do prefer to always have a super dark brown shadow. So I could have had some differences in this, but I do see Carli Bybel in this palette, and I do think it's a beautiful palette, which is why I also ended up picking it up. But I did get it on sale. I don't really remember for how much I got it, but it was for less than $30, I think. So I think it was a very good deal. So basically this video is going to be me swatching these shadows, which I will do very shortly. And then after that, I will just show you how I did this look using some of these shadows. So if you want to see the swatches, then please keep on watching. Okay, so that is all of the different shadows swatched out, and I must say I'm quite impressed by how the swatches did. Obviously the swatches aren't really telling that much about how the shadows will perform, but I feel like it does tell a little bit. But sometimes some shadows swatch really bad and they perform really well, but honestly the shimmer shadows were really creamy, and this shadow right here, the OA, which I also chose to use on my lid, is absolutely stunning, and I'm so excited about that one. And I do also like these other shimmers, this duochrome here, and as you can see, this darker, more antique gold shadow is super pigmented. as well as this more, I don't know how to call it, like a purpley gray dark shadow. But yeah, I think that all of these shadows swatched really nicely, and I'm super excited to be using this palette more. And if you do want to see how I did this look using some of these shadows, I did use this shadow, I used this shadow, and I used this and the darker brown one. So if you're interested in seeing those being used on my eye, then please keep on watching. So for today's look, I think I want to make this shadow, the OA shadow, as my main lid shadow, and I think I'll just go ahead and start with this darker brown shadow called, I don't know how to pronounce it, Boie? Boie? I don't know. But I think I will just start out with that in a crease, and then I'll just see if I will use any of these others as a transition shade, or I don't know, just to change up the color a bit afterwards. But I will definitely start out with this one. And I'm just going to try using the Anastasia brush that was with this palette. As my eyeshadow base, I used my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C1 that I usually use, and as always I try to tap down the shadow just to make sure that I won't have much fallout, and wow, this is really pigmented. So I'm just tapping it on in the crease, and I'll just drag it relatively far towards my inner crease as well, but maybe I will try to like make a more neutral-ish look, I don't know. I'll just be using my Kaleidos Makeup brush S5. It's a smaller detail brush. I'm just taking that same shade and dragging it a bit underneath my lower lash line. Now I'm just taking that other side of the dual-ended brush, and I'm taking the shade Bybel, and I will just be packing that in my inner crease, I think. So now I'm basically like wrapping the darker shadow Boie with the shade Bybel. So I'm basically just using it almost like a transition shade. And I think that this, since it's a little bit more of a mauvey purple shadow, that it will go very great with the whole look, because I want to use that purpley multi-chrome shadow as well. So I do see some fallout here, not a lot, but a little bit. And just before I forget what the different steps I did, I will just go ahead and do the same thing on my other eye. I'm planning to test out my new Kaleidos Makeup lip tonics, which is, I have this matte one, it's called Ambition. And so I think I want to use this, I don't know if it's like a cranberry red shadow or how you would explain it. But at least I'm going to tuck just a little bit of this on my lower lash line, just to be able to connect the eye look with my lipstick. So I'll just, I don't know how far I want it. I think I just want it like from the middle part. I feel like this dark shadow is not applying as beautifully here, because I did set underneath the eye, because I always have a lot of creasing happening, and I feel like it's looking way more patchy there than on the top, because on the top I don't really have any problems with the patchiness. But I'll just try to pack on a little bit more right here. So I think this is fine. Now I'll just be using my BH Cosmetics Base Booster as a base for that glittery shimmer shadow, and I'm trying not to apply too much, because if I do then I might have some creasing, so I will just be applying the glitter glue, and then I will do the shade OA right here. So this must easily be one of the most beautiful shadows I've ever seen. I'll just turn down the lighting and try to zoom you in so you can just see all of the multi-chrome sparkles that is here. How gorgeous is that? Anyway, now I will just go ahead and use the shade Boli. It's the lightest shimmer shadow right up here, and I will just be applying that as my inner corner highlight with a tiny little brush like this. And I did have quite a bit of fallout using that shimmer shadow because it's so glittery, but I will just wipe that away. Okay, so this is how my finished look using the Carli Bybel palette turned out, and honestly I'm so in love with this this sparkly shadow that I used for my lid, the OA shadow, which I told you in the intro that I was most intrigued by. And honestly I think that this shadow is like worth buying the whole palette, at least when you get it on sale like I did. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. And the mattes did perform really beautifully. As I said, this is like the first time I'm using a 14 pan palette by Anastasia. So the other palette I have is just the mini one, volume 1, and I'm not sure if it's the same formula or not. I haven't really heard if it is. I think it might be a different formula, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I was really happy with how this whole look turned out and how the shadows applied and blended out, and I'm really excited to be using the more colorful matte ones like this peachy shade and the red shade. They're looking really pretty, and this one is also a duochrome, which reminds me a little bit of Colourpop Thank You Next. And yeah, honestly there's a lot of these types of duochromes out there. But yeah, all in all, my first impression of this whole palette has been really good, and I hope you also like this look. And yeah, comment down below if you have this palette or if you want it, and give this video a thumbs up if you did like it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me, and hopefully I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye!